Hello viewers, welcome to UN College Digital class. In today's class, I am going to discuss about polymorphism in C++. In the previous classes of C++, I have discussed about different types of inheritance with examples. In this class, I am going to discuss polymorphism in detail. Let's start. Polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms and it occurs when we have many classes that are related to each other by inheritance. Polymorphism means having many forms, or we can say we can define the polymorphism as the ability to display a message in many forms. Okay. It happens when there is hierarchy of classes and they are related by inheritance. It also means that a call to a member function will cause a different function to be executed depending on the type of object that invokes the function. In C++, polymorphism is mainly divided into two types. Those are compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. We know that C++ is based on OOPS concept, and OOPS is having number of different and interesting concepts. Polymorphism is one of them. What is the meaning of polymorphism? Polymorphism meaning is that suppose you are writing a program and number of different users are using the program in their own way. That is polymorphism. It means that one program can act in number of different ways. Actually, there are two different types of polymorphism, or we may say that polymorphism can be implemented in two different ways. Those are compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism, which is also called as dynamic polymorphism. We will discuss here about compile time polymorphism. Here I have represented the types of polymorphism in a diagrammatic way. Polymorphism is categorized into compile time and runtime. Then compile time can be implemented by using function overloading and operator overloading, and runtime polymorphism, which is dynamic in nature, that is implemented in virtual by using virtual function, which we will discuss later. But here we will discuss about compile time polymorphism and basically about function overloading, okay, and little bit about operator overloading. Let's start. Compile time polymorphism is a type of polymorphism which is achieved by function overloading and operator overloading. Okay. Now we will discuss about function overloading. What is the meaning of function overloading? When there are multiple functions with the same name but different parameters, then these functions are said to be overloaded. Okay. Functions can be overloaded by change in number of arguments, change in types of argument, return type, etc. Here I am going to give one example of function overloading so that you will be clear. Here I have used one class. Let the name of the class is CAL. Okay, you may use any other name, no problem. Then public, and in the public part I have used static int add, then int a, int b, return a plus b. Okay. Then static int add, int a, int b, int c. Actually, here you can see that int add, I have used two functions which are having the same name add, but the same return type, but the parameter here int a, int b, it means that two parameters are here and here three parameters. Okay, this is only the difference. Then in the main method, what I have done, call C is the object of the class call, then cout c.add 10, 20, then cout c.add 12, 20, 23. Actually, this is the example of function overloading. Here you can see that I have used the class here. One add function is here which is taking two argument of int type and returning one int, and here again I am using the same int add and three parameters of int type and returning int. Actually here the return type are same, the function name are same, but the parameters are different. Here two parameters, here three parameters of same data type. Okay. Then in the main method I have used one object, and by using the object reference I am calling this function add function. When I am calling this one, it means that c.add1020, then this function will work. Then when I will use the statement c.add122023, then this function will work. Okay, this is the example of function overloading. Exactly what is the meaning of function overloading? If we will explain in a very simple way, then in a program you will use number of function with the same name but different data type or return type, etc. That is function overloading. Here again I have used another example of function overloading so that you will be clear. You can see that int mul, int. Here the method name is mul, return type is int, two parameters are here. Then float mul is the name of the function, return type is float. And here I have used float int, two parameters, but here you can see that two parameters, here also two parameters, but here two are int type, here one is float, one is int type. Okay. Then int mul, here I am going to define the function. First one int mul, int mul, int a comma int b, then return a into b. Okay. And then I am going to define another function, that is float mul double x int y. Here you can see that I have used double x and int y and return x into y. Then inside int main, actually here I have not used any class program. Here I have used this program in a very simple way, just like C programming. Then inside the int main method, what I have done, int r1 equal to mul 6.7, then float r2 equal to mul 0.2 comma 3, then cout r1 is r1. We are displaying the result which is written by the first mul function, then we are going to display the result which is written by the calling of second mul function. In this way function overloading is working. I hope you have got some basic concept on function overloading. Okay, but it is having some problem. What are those? In case of function overloading, ambiguity may be arised. Okay, what is the meaning of ambiguity here? When the compiler is unable to decide which function is to be invoked among the overloaded function, this situation is known as function ambiguity. Okay. When the compiler shows the ambiguity error, the compiler does not run the program. It means that sometimes what happens, the function, the program is looking like it is having no error, but it may contain some sort of ambiguity, and when ambiguity is there, the program will not be executed. Okay, so that you will not get your output, or you will get your garbage output which is not required. Now we are discussing about the causes of ambiguity, that is type conversion, function with default argument, function with pass by reference. Actually ambiguity happens in number of different situations, but here I am going to give an example so that you will be clear on the concept of ambiguity. Void fon int, here the method name is fon, return type is void, and it is taking one argument, that is int. Then void fon float, here the method name is float, return type is void, and it is taking the data type or parameter float. Okay. Then void fon int I, here I am going to define the first function, this one, and in this function the body of the function is cout, the value of I is, that's all, only I. Then I am going to define the next one, void fon float. Inside void fon float body, just I have displayed the value of the float variable, that's all. Then in the main method, suppose I am calling fon 12, okay, then it means that I want that this function must execute. Then I will call fon 1.2. I want that this function will be executed, but here what will happen? It will prompt, or it will face ambiguity because of type conversion. Okay, we know that when we are passing one int, that may be converted into float, and we know that when we are passing also float, that may be converted into int. It means that when you are using fon 12, it may be cast by this method or this method. It means that when you are passing a particular value and you are calling a particular function, what you need, at that time the processor may not understand, your compiler may not understand which function is required to be invoked, and that particular situation is called as ambiguity in function overloading. Now I am going to discuss about operator overloading, which is also a very interesting concept. In C++, operator overloading is a compile time polymorphism in which the operator is overloaded to provide the special meaning to the user defined data type. Okay. For example, we can make the operator plus for string class to concatenate two strings. We know that this is the addition operator whose task is to add two operands. So a single operator plus, when placed between integer operands, adds them, and when placed between string operands, concatenate them, and this is called as operator overloading. Okay. Actually, what is the meaning of operator overloading? The meaning is that when we can use the operator to perform operation on user defined data type in OOPS classes, the user defined data type, then this type of operation is called as operator overloading. For example, already I have explained. Suppose again I am going to explain that same thing again. Suppose we are using plus, okay, which is addition operator. Addition operator you can use with int, float, double, etc., which are predefined data type. But if you can use that addition operator on class, then that is called as operator overloading. But to implement operator overloading, we must have follow some rules. Those are now I am going to discuss. Operators that cannot be overloaded are as follows: scope resolution operator that cannot be overloaded, then size of operator, then member selector, member pointer selector, and ternary operator. These operators cannot be overloaded. Suppose I want to implement operator overloading, then the syntax is return type, class name, scope resolution operator, then operator. Here you can see that here I have used operator. Actually it is a method, operator method, which is predefined name. I cannot use anything else instead of operator here. Then OP, which I want to overload, then argument list, then the body of the function, then closing brace. This is about the syntax of operator overloading. Rules for operator overloading. What are those? Existing operators can only be overloaded, but the new operators cannot be overloaded. It means that the operators which are already exist, okay, we cannot overload some operators. Already I have given that list. Apart from that, all other existing operators we can overload, but the new operators we cannot overload. The overloaded operator contains at least one operand of the user defined data type. It means that suppose you are implementing operator overloading and you are not using any user defined data type, then it cannot be called as overloading operator. That's why at least one operand of the user defined data type must be used in operator overloading. We cannot use friend function to overload certain operators. It means that when we are implementing operator overloading, if you are using friend function, then some operators cannot be overloaded. However, the member function can be used to overload those operators. When unary operators are overloaded through a member function, take no explicit arguments. Suppose you are overloading plus plus or minus minus, which are unary operator, then there is no requirement of explicit argument if you are using member function to overload. But if they are overloaded by using friend function, then one argument is passed. Okay. When when binary operators are overloaded which requires two operands, okay, through a member function takes one explicit argument, but if they are overloaded through a friend function, then it will take two explicit argument. Already I have explained that polymorphism meaning is what and in which way we can implement polymorphism. Polymorphism can be implemented in two different ways, and that is compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Okay, and compile time polymorphism is again two types. What are those? Function overloading, operator overloading. In this class I have discussed about function overloading in details and little bit about operator overloading, because there are so many concepts are related with operator overloading. In the next class we will discuss about operator overloading in detail. Here I am going to differentiate in between compile time overloading and runtime overloading or dynamic overloading. When we are talking about compile time overloading and the next one is runtime or dynamic, okay. What is the meaning is that we know that overloading, when we are talking about overloading, meaning is that one program is performing number of ways. Suppose you are writing a program, let the program name is a.cpp, then suppose you are performing some sort of addition, okay. Then obviously you have used one add method to perform addition. Suppose the add method can be used to add int type, the add method can be used to add float type, the add method can be used to add string type, again the add method can be used to add double type. Then this particular concept is called as overloading, okay. The same program or the same function can perform in number of ways, that is polymorphism, and that is also overloading. Here the question is that how we will implement this by using compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Compile time is your function overloading. It means that here we can use multiple function with the same name, but the return type or the number of arguments are different, okay. And another one is operator overloading. And runtime polymorphism is implemented by using virtual function, which we will discuss later, but here I will only discuss what is the difference, okay. What happens, anything you are performing during compilation time, that is static, that is fixed, okay, that is static in nature, and anything which is performed during runtime, that is dynamic in nature. It meaning is that the overloading or the polymorphism is implemented which is static in nature in compile time, and the polymorphism which we are implementing during runtime is dynamic in nature. This is the first difference. Then second difference, in case of compile time polymorphism, suppose you are using function overloading or operator overloading, anything, then the binding is performed during compilation time, which is called as static binding, okay. But the binding which is performed during runtime, that is called as dynamic binding. This is the second difference. Now let me explain what is the meaning of binding exactly. Suppose we are implementing compile time polymorphism, then how the binding operation is performed. Suppose you have used one program and let the program is add.cpp, and suppose here you are performing add function or add operation for multiple different type of data type. It means that, so here I am using one add function for int, then second add function for float, then third add function for string, okay. And what happens in static binding or during compile time polymorphism, or everything is allocating its own memory. Every operation, suppose here your program or the class and your object, methods, everything is ready during compile time. But what happens runtime? during runtime. Suppose we will implement this operation in runtime or dynamic binding, which is called as, okay, this is called as dynamic binding. At that time what happens? Any operation which is chosen by the user, the binding will be implemented. Suppose the user will choose to perform addition operation on INT, then this connection or the memory allocation will be implemented only for this during runtime, not in compile time. This is the difference in between static binding and dynamic binding. In case of static binding, everything is ready for the execution. The user may need it or may not need it. But in case of dynamic binding, everything will be ready at that time when the user will give the option. That's why it is more effective one in comparison to this one. I hope you have got some basic concept. What are the differences in between compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism? In the next class, I am going to discuss about operator overloading. In this class, if you have any doubt, then please write to me in the comment box so that I can clear your doubt. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great time.